Welcome into this week's 5 Things to Watch edition of Beyond the Arc here on High School Cube News. Brian Chimino back with Michael O'Brien of the Chicago Sun-Times. Real quick, we got to start off with number 1. Big event taking place at Young this weekend. Rivalries between schools from the CPS, headlined by number 2 Simeon and number 4 Morgan Park. I would be safe to say there's fireworks in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. I have mixed feelings about the Battle of Vincennes, leaving Vincennes and leaving the entire South Side. We'll see how that goes. However, I think it'll allow some people that might want to watch that but don't want to go, get shoehorned into those tiny gyms and kind of sketchy situations. So I think that's a good idea. Going through the full lineup there first, it's going to be Morgan Park Simeons at 6, Orr against Young at 4, Bogan against Vocational at 2, Kenwood Hyde Park at noon, and Uplift Lincoln Park at 10 a.m. Obviously, it's a full day of great basketball, but the headliner is definitely Morgan Park Simeon. I'm really excited about this game after watching just how fabulous Simeon looked, how they want to play this new run and gun style with all their athletes. They're like 12 deep. One of the national guys said that he thinks Simeon's the deepest national team that isn't a prep school in the entire country, which is, I'm sure, most likely true. And then Morgan Park, who always is going to run and gun. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder since Simeon's ranked ahead of them, and Levette's going to want to make a big statement. He's got Charlie Moore with him. That game is going to be fabulous. I think a lot better maybe than the Simeon-Morgan Park game of the last 2 years. But overall, the event should be great. I would definitely recommend going there if you want to see some high-level public league basketball.
In a non-conference game, the number 2 thing to watch, we're looking at number 12, Hinsdale Central, at number 17, Notre Dame on Saturday.
Yeah, this is big for both of these teams to kind of prove who belongs. Neither one's been really tested yet. They're both experienced, interesting teams. Hinsdale Central is very big. They have 2 D1 bigs, really, with Matt Rafferty, who's a great football player, hasn't committed to college yet, and George Kiernan, who's going to go to Navy. He's had a really nice season so far, too. The question for Hinsdale Central is going to be the guards. Jordan Bradshaw is their point guard, but it's how solid the guards can be, how dynamic that guard play is going to be. And they're going up against Notre Dame, who it's going to be interesting to see how Amar Bakar, he's a 6'4" post that's really effective, really good in the post, but he's going to have those 2 twin towers. I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to do against them. A lot might be left to Joe Mooney, who's one of the area's best shooters from the outside, but that's going to be a fun game, and we're going to learn a lot about both those teams and really which one is for real and which one can go higher going forward the rest of the year.
As we look at number 3 thing to watch, Catholic League, dominant in football, basketball, it's going to be just the same. Number 3, St. Joe's on the road, and number 6, St. Rita on Friday, and St. Rita really struggled last week at the Elite Classic.
Yeah, they just completely messed the bed. It was a disaster. One of the worst performances we've seen on a big stage in a long time. They'll all tell you that. The team was not happy after the game. Nobody really knows what it was after they played so well against Curie. And St. Joe's has a tougher game early in the week with Hales. Both of these teams are playing really high-level schedules, and this game might send one up, on to better things and send one reeling, especially if St. Rita loses. So it's a really key game early in the season. I wouldn't be surprised if St. Rita kind of flips everything on its head and is able to pull this one out. They're able to match up real well with St. Joe's, one of the few teams that is. Miles Carter is going to be able to give Nick Rekosevic a game down low. Just having a body to put on him is going to help a lot, and expect Charles Matthews and Armani Cheney to really have something to prove after that really embarrassing game on Saturday night.
Another big matchup in conference play, number 8 Lake Forest taking on number 22 Lake Zurich, led by an unknown. Mike Travalos is really putting on some points.
Yeah, this is another one of those unknown versus a known. We know Lake Forest. They've been around, pretty much the same team from last year. You got Evan Boudreau down low doing everything. Noah Karras, Steve Vogrich has played well so far. We know what they are. We know they're a pretty good team. That's why they're in the top 10. Lake Zurich, though, man, got to be impressed with their early start to the season. You mentioned Travalos. They've got a big in Will McClary, who's 6'6", that's going to help. He's going to have his hands full with Boudreau. There's already been a lot of talk online and on Twitter about this game. This is going to be a really fun kind of midweek rivalry game, and we're going to know a lot more about Lake Zurich. Even if they can hang with Lake Forest, make this a close game at Lake Forest, it's going to prove that they're worthy of their ranking and really a team to watch for the whole season.
And the number 5 and final thing to watch, a conference game in the Southwest Suburban Blue on Thursday night. It'll be Bolingbrook and Joliet West.
It's early December, but it's not too early to panic for Bolingbrook. This is a team that's loaded with talent once again, and they lost to Joliet Central last week. got kicked out of the rankings. You know, Joliet Central's off to a nice start, but they shouldn't be able to match up really with what Bolingbrook has. I guess Julian Torres, their big, didn't play in that game. He's a D1 recruit, but even still, they should be able to handle that. So this is a must-win for Bolingbrook. They need to beat Joliet West. It's at Joliet West. Joliet West is a young team, but they're off to a really nice start. Much, much better than I expected. They've got 2 sophomores to really keep an eye on. Trevian Bell is the big guy. He's getting almost 20 points a game. And Tavion Kirk is the sophomore guard. They've got some seniors like Mike Rudwalt, but this is the team that had like the worst team in school history last year. So to even have they're like 5-1, 6-1 the record they have. The only losses to Plainfield North, a good team. And they're going to smell blood in the water after, you know, their district mates, Joliet Central, was able to upset Bolingbrook. So look out. Bolingbrook needs to win this badly.
So check out the results of the 5 things to watch this week here on High School Cube News throughout the weekend. For Michael O'Brien, I'm Brian Chimino. We'll see you guys next week.